Cool. Wow, shit, it's been like 8 months or something since I've done this. A random rant. GrapheneOS, my thoughts later. And, you know, screaming into the void, I guess, to the internet. It's pretty much what I'm doing. Not only my thoughts on like GrapheneOS, but like one of the best books that I've read in like the extreme case of privacy by Michael Basil, however you say his fucking name, however his name is spelled. So I guess that's where I'll start. So I picked up his book, What It Takes for Extreme Privacy, and Extreme Privacy, What It Takes to Disappear. Probably one of the best, most in-depth books that I've ever read. I'm like 90% done with it. Personally, it's probably, if you like have zero knowledge of like privacy, security, encryption, how to set up a secure phone, how to minimize your like digital footprints while being chronically online, I recommend it. It's well worth the money. It's well worth the time and effort it takes. It's like 500 pages. There's a lot of stuff that you can gloss over or like, you know, pick. A lot of it is very extreme. Like real, like, I mean, that's his point. He's doing it for people in like really uncomfortable and probably like really dangerous, not average user scenarios, and I love it. I think it takes a really different approach on not compromising for people's security, and there's certain parts where it's probably not like financially or like time consuming, like time wise possible, and I get that some of those things have to be a factor, and he does too. He acknowledges it. I think he's a pretty realistic person that comes like across, like, people think that this is extreme, but like if you have like the resources and like the necessary like time to like do all this and you don't make a mistake, I think it's a really good place to start for a lot of people, and it also does things a little bit different versus like your standard like schizo take you see on fucking Reddit, like delete your phone, throw it out, the FBI is looking into your anus or whatever. And I admire it, the amount of detail that he puts into it. A lot of people don't realize how much detail, time, and effort that like goes into writing, but this is like next level. Like he puts links, he breaks it down for a person to understand it that has like no technical knowledge. And personally, like, even if you do have a technical knowledge at like a high level, I still think it's good information that like there's some stuff that like I didn't really like I glossed over. I'm like, I don't care about this. This isn't like part of my threat model. This isn't a part of like something that I actually care about. And I think that's fine. There's some stuff in there that like I just don't want to put the time or effort into it. But I like took it and absorbed it like as much as like I could. And I think if you want to start somewhere and you're a person that likes reading and you really want to get an in-depth of like good privacy and security threat modeling, his book's awesome. It's gone really well. I learned a lot too, like on like OPSEC and how to have I guess like a better like digital footprint. And I know everyone's talked about him, but I think like his book is super underrated, because I even picked up some stuff like just to do, like I just picked up some like stuff like from the book, like just like right off bat, I'm like, I want to do this. I want to try it. I want to start pushing more that into my daily use. And like GrapheneOS is like recommended, and he's changed some stuff like that he said in the past and done some like different stuff differently, which, you know, I appreciate. I appreciate a person that's willing to be like, hey, I don't endorse this anymore. You should probably do this instead. And I like that there's options. Like there's different options for every scenario, like every case, which is, in my opinion, super important. And I think that's something that we need to like fix in like the privacy and security like place. This is just like from a personal take, that instead of like a lot of people just say, like they go like the schizo route and they're like, you know, use this, only use this, and it's just, or like, you know, like we have already like 50 million messengers. We don't need 50 new million messengers. We need good, trusted, quality messengers, like, or good quality browsers. We don't need another fucking browser. You know, that's, and I'm all for competition, but like the biggest issue is like, I think that we should have a few good vetted options and just keep it that way. That's just like, we need to stop building. We need to start promoting, in my opinion. Because the more that people that we get to use like end-to-end encryption, like Signal or Session or you know, Quitch, or maybe like you know, Proton Mail at, you know, the more that we get people on board with that, or Brave, or a password manager at like the bare minimum, the better we get people convinced to going in other paths, you know, instead of sticking to using, like, you know, saving your password in the browser, or which some people think that like that's better than literally nothing. But, you know, I think it's better to, you know, I turn a lot of people onto Bitwarden and a lot of people onto Signal. I've gotten a lot of like friends to just use it, and people to use Brave, just use Brave, just out of pure, like, the way I've convinced people like is like, hey, Brave is faster. Hey, you hate ads? Oh, you do? Cool, use Brave. Like, I try to stay away from like the crazy talking points 90% of the time now, because like I realize it doesn't convince people. Like, hey, Bitwarden, hey, you hate memorizing passwords? Here, just use this, man. That's what I do. I don't remember a single password. It does it all for me. You know, it's, or like KeyPass. I mean, KeyPass is kind of extreme. Some people just might not like how it works, and that's fine. That's why I recommend Bitwarden or Brave or just Firefox. Hey, Firefox has like LibreWolf. It's a built-in blocker. It's by default. It's great. I like it. You know, and that's just how I kind of look at it. The best way to convince people is like, get away from like the privacy and security part. Just go off like what normal people like: speed, convenience. Oh, you don't like ads? I just use Brave, man. I use Brave. I use YouTube in the web browser, and you know, it gets rid of fucking ads. They're like, oh, that's awesome. I'm gonna try it, and then they'll download it, and then they'll try it, and then they don't even know, and then like it slowly introduces them like, hey, Signal does this, like it does this really well, and they're like, oh, okay, and then they like it, and then they use it, and then they like, hey, and it's private, and it's end-to-end encrypted, and it's secured, and it's audited, and it's like all these other things they find out themselves. Because if you were to introduce me in this way, I would have been like, fuck all that. I'm just gonna use my Facebook, my Snapchat, my same 4 passwords, blah blah blah. And that's not. It's just not a productive way. We've really strayed away from like the main goal is just getting people involved and getting people to care. And I think that's the hardest battle. It's not it's another app. It's another point of download, and that's just like my opinion. Like, it's just another app. It's another download. This is why like places like Mastodon and PeerTube and all these alternative like social media, they just fail in a sense, and it takes like a big movement to push people to like there, because it's just like I have to now migrate all my friends or whatever, you know, whatever the fucking reason is. It's, you know, humans are we're malleable. We easily become addicted and complacent. It's normal. I get it. And I think once we start delivering like good quality the good quality promotion message, I think then more people will jump on board. Like a lot of people are starting to move away from like proprietary software and they're going to like more open source. GrapheneOS is becoming, in my opinion, like my go-to to like recommend people if they care about privacy and security from a high standpoint. I love it. I've been using it for like 8 months straight now, and there's not much bad I can say about it, which kind of sucks. The community can be kind of toxic, to be honest. Like I was on I'm in their Element chat, and I'm not a huge fan of like some of the people that do help are amazing, and they really go out of their way, and like they've solved a lot of good issues. But like a lot of the people that go in there just to argue or spam, or they see some shit take and then they just like go out of their way to do this, like to like some people like will be like sandbox everything, or like if you use Google Play service you're fucking Hitler, and it's just like no. Or like, oh my god, you use Gmail, you suck, like fuck you. And it's just kind of funny, like the absolutism can be like kind of cringe. It's kind of like, you know, that's like, it's like Bitcoin maximalists. They're like, they see no issue with it. Or like Monero stand, and I'm a huge fan of Monero. I think Monero's like a lot better than Bitcoin in a lot of different areas, but I think Bitcoin is going to get more mass adoption for obvious reasons. But like GrapheneOS, so far like everything has worked really well. All my apps that I use like on a personal level have worked. I like the fact that I have multiple profiles. I do want to check out PGPP, pretty good phone privacy, at some point. I think it's a little expensive, but maybe somewhere down the line I'll try like their $40 tier. Just if I could find a way to do that and then make an IMSI catcher, like a Stingray or something. I know there's a way to do it. There's like articles on how to do it, and see if it is actually verifiable. That'd be really cool. The Pine phone is still base as fuck. I hope that at some point Ubuntu Touch stops sucking major cock, and maybe they can we can help port it to like some more like flagship era phones. And I know that's going to be a long time out, and it's like a development. I don't know, my personal take on it is I think it's a completely usable phone if you don't need the app ecosystem, like you don't rely on Google. I think for what you get, it's a good phone. It's not like fucking Librem 5 where they're like, it took like how long to bring their stuff over. I think it's a good daily driver. Like if you just want like a phone that just makes calls and texts, and you can run it as a terminal, which is cool. There's a lot of Linux command line apps that I ran. I would prefer to have a very based, powerful like phone that could run Linux. That'd be awesome. Like in general, like it would be pretty sweet. Like I got to watch some anime from the command line like last year, and if I could increase like the power to like be able to watch like 720 or like 1080p and not have it like lag, that'd be super cool. And there's a lot of cool command line apps that I would like to conveniently have. I know there's that one Tmux, whatever the fuck it's called. I'm not a fan of it. And you can't. You got to be root to really do anything, and it's whatever. I think the Pine phone's cool, and I think from like a cybersecurity standpoint, or like a pen testing or like hacker standpoint, it's pretty. I don't know. It's pretty awesome. Like there's a lot you can do with it because you can run it as root, and there's a lot of tools you can use. David Bombal did an awesome video on it. I got the Flipper Zero too. A lot. The Flipper Zero is really cool. I know there's a lot of modulation that's starting to happen now, and more and more scripts. And I've used it as a U2F key, which is for some applications. It's very good, very awesome based tool. I think it's worth it if you like tinkering. I think it's a tinker. I like to tinker with stuff. I like to get stuff on and like figure it out and like kind of fuck around with it. But back to GrapheneOS. So far, yeah, every application has worked. I've had 0 issues. My sudo worked, but you have to port it from like where it's already active, like an active account. You have to port it over from like a already active, like on an Android. So like if people don't know that, they're like, why is my sudo not working? I don't know why. It doesn't, like, you can't set it up natively, and I haven't looked into it. I haven't really cared, but I figured it out. You just have to like activate it on an Android. They don't really ask for any like identifiable information besides a card, which you can use privacy. My privacy. I think you might be able to use some prepaid cards. I don't know. I haven't tried it. It'd be cool if they could accept Monero maybe in the future. I don't know if they're allowed to. I know there's some like legal problems probably with that. Like how do you sell it off? Like how do you tax it or whatever? But I think it's important that like we have that. Like that'd be cool to have that option, or like maybe like a cache option. Like maybe if they could find a way to do that, that'd be cool. Like my sudo is great. I think for the price you pay is really awesome. There is a section in the book in Michael Zell where he does like shows you how to set up like a VoIP, which is cool. I'm thinking about doing that with one of my Raspberry Pis to set up asterisks and fuck around with VoIP, which is cool. I've been wanting to get into radio too, like some radio stuff. I know there's a I don't want to use this word. I can't find it. I put it in my bookmark and I lost it somewhere, I think I deleted the bookmark by accident or something. But there was this network called Requiem Network, I think, that can work off radio waves. And I believe it's encrypted. And you can like communicate and create your own kind of like how you can do it with Briar. That's why I kind of like Briar. You can like set up like a way to like mesh like these networks out and like communicate with people and set up blogs and post. And I don't know, Briar's cool. I wish Briar was more popular. I would use it. I would honestly I prefer it over Signal. I tried getting some people on Briar and they're like, no, I'm good. Signal was hard enough, but like Briar is, in my opinion, more based. And like, I don't know. I think it's like cool that there's more privacy and security tech coming out, like way cooler. Now, do I think everyone should go on GrapheneOS? No, that'd be insane. I think you should go with what's your threat model, like whatever you feel. If you want to be on stock Android, it's fine. Just obfuscate as much data as possible. I think that's like a thing that people forget you can do. Like you don't have to legally give your name. You could be like, my name is Frank Dick Pants. And I think that's like something that like should be talked a little bit more about, is like know when to obfuscate your data, like give fake information as much as possible where it's not inconvenient. That would be like, I think like the smartest thing to do. Like have a Facebook, make it private, but don't use your real birthday. Don't use your real name. Use like, remember on MySpace, like you would have like these cringy like names like Dinosaur Derek or Autumn Out. Like no one's gonna know. There's like 500 Autumn Adleys, Autumn Ashleys. You know what I mean? Like just don't put your real birthday. Don't put your real information. Just fake it. Like fake it. That's the best thing you can do. Because if it does get breached, it's much harder to use that. A lot of security questions are really specific to people, and people use like the actual answer. Like they're like, oh, what street you grew up on? That's easy to find. And then like, oh, what's your birthday? Oh, okay, cool. Now I have your real birthday. Like you can siphon a lot of information from social media. And I think that's like where obfuscating like that like security questions, I embrace not giving the answer, but giving an answer similar, like close to it. Like, what was your first pet's name? Do you, like, say your first pet's name is Frank, and but like shit, like that's like people know you, then, or like there's a leak, or like they figure it out or whatever. Like, oh, okay, but your first pet name could be motorcycle Montana. No, it doesn't have to be the answer. And I think that's something that we like, and then just write that down on like some, I use secure notes for all my offline local storage encrypted notes. They've been really awesome. I love them. Like that, for any of my offline notes, I either use like my NAS, and I put that in an encrypted vault just in case. And then I put it in secure notes as a backup, and then I put it, I'll make a copy of it and put it on an encrypted storage. Like, just because, like, I don't ever want to lose like those things. But, like, I think if you, like, follow, like, a really good backup protocol, that's super important. And it's kind of awesome. But I think that's something that, like, that the community needs to embrace a little bit more. It's just, you know, obfuscate. I'm not saying it's like a good security, because we all know, like, you know, obfuscation, like obscurity is not security, blah blah blah, whatever. But like, I think it's good privacy, and like having good privacy helps maintain a good security. Like, that's like, it's not like telling people like changing SSH port 22 to 5069 420 is gonna protect you. Like, no, but like, them people not knowing the answer to like my security questions because I don't follow a normal habitual pattern, and I don't have my real birthday, and I don't have my real name, and people don't know like my parents' maiden name. Stuff like that is still used at like a level of verification. Like, what's your mother's maiden name? That's fucking insane. That's easy to figure out, like if you know the person, or if like you can just get public documents. Like, just go to Docsbin instead of just go to a Docsbin, and you can find out that a lot of that stuff is loose. And if we like start embracing that, and like the only like certain people, like I think you should be very careful of like where you give out like your information. Like, you always hear of people coming in, like going in and being like, how does my number get leaked? Or like you see on forum boards of like, they're like, sir, I keep getting hacked. What is my issue? They keep people keep finding me and hacking my account. Yeah, it's low-hanging fruit. You probably use the same fucking password. You don't obfuscate any of like your information. Like, I've seen bad passwords throughout my life, and it's crazy. And I used to have really bad passwords, like sickening. And now I have a password manager, and that's solved it. And I think that's like that's what kind of started me. Was like, what's this self-hosting? I'm cheap. I don't want to keep paying for services. Oh, it's better privacy. Interesting. And then Reddit led me to like doing stuff like that. But we all like kind of like from a perspective start somewhere. And I think it's good that people start somewhere, and it's good to answer questions. And it's good to get people involved. I think like the people that I've switched over from like Mac or Windows to Linux, not saying that it's like better or like the best or like it's superior. And I know like people are gonna fucking rage when they hear, they're like, Linux was the greatest thing, free and open software, and my fucking cock bleeds fucking Retro Stallman's tears. That's insane. Like, people need to, like, if someone sticks on Windows because they have to for work or for school, or for Mac, same thing, work or for school, which I still think is crazy. I think that it's relatively better to give them better, like, hey, if, you know, don't run anything as root, like as administrator for Windows, use Little Snitch. I think that's like a good like I believe it's a firewall. It tells you like when, like stuff like that, like continuously exposing them to like, you know, password. Bitwarden works everywhere. That's a good like, you can self-host it. I use right now Portmaster as a firewall, and I'm checking something else out. It is a Firefox extension that got me. It's called JShelter. I found a recommendation through Mastodon through the free open source for the fs.com Free Software Foundation. Got their hoodie, but it is pretty cool. It's an extension for increasing security and privacy of the user. I know it's like another extension, and I'll leave a link to their GitHub, and like I believe I'll leave a link to their fucking website later. It's like a JavaScript shield, network bounty shield, fingerprint detector. It also like it tells you when websites are trying to track you and they'll block it. I mainly use Portmaster. I do want to check out SPN, their not VPN. Yeah, it's SPN is pretty cool looking. I think that there is it's interesting. It, you know, when you add up all these tools, it can get definitely fucking expensive. But I think if you were to ditch like your normal VPN or whatever, and you wanted a really good alternative, I tell people to go check out safing.io. And $10 isn't bad. It's geo-unblocking. It's multiple identity. I think it's cool. It's multiple identities for each app. It's up to 5 devices. You know, maybe do it with some friends or whatever. All going together. But I think it's an interesting take on. And then you get, like, if you buy it by the year, you get like a discount. I'm not a fan of buying stuff for the year though, because what if you find out it's just a honeypot or some dumb shit? That's why yearly I'm not for buying by the year, because if their values change or shift, you're fucked. Or if they get, you know, like they get, this is why I'm not a fan of like going it. Like I understand subscriptions can, you know, sometimes buying by the year is way better financially for some people, because then they can put money aside for it, whatever. But if you buy by the year, you better hope that company is A, still there, hasn't turned into a fucking honeypot, or their values don't shift away from yours, because it's just fucking, it'd be so disappointing, you know, C Templar, or insert company here, or that weird messaging app that was asking, that just got raided by the FBI, the EU, Excula, whatever the fuck their name is. Yeah, they got like raided by like the FBI. And it's kind of fucking stupid, because when you go on their website, apparently it was a lot of red flags. Like a lot of red flags. Like, and it was like $300+ for like a license, and then like 5 months later it was like another like 500. It was stupid money. It was a stupid amount of money. And they were like, oh, we're E2E encryption. And then they like tracked him, and then you like read it and you're like, okay, no, never mind. I see why they got caught. They had bad OPSEC. I remember seeing in like the Matrix chat in GrapheneOS, this guy was like being a super virgin and saying like, oh, and the encryption doesn't actually, they're like, it was like a really bad, it was a really bad faith argument, which kind of sucks, because like, you get people in that industry, like in that space, and they just shove people out instead of actually like solving it. And they're like, I don't care about feelings. I care about this, and this. And I'm like, okay, then you're accomplishing nothing. You're not getting your point across, and you look like a virgin. And like, this is how like I generally convince people to go to Graphene. It's better security. It's better privacy. You get more control. And then if I feel like that would scare someone, I remove that. Hey, you get more control over your phone. You still get 6 years of updates. You get updates at a better rate, at a good it's sandbox. You get more for your money. You know, if you care about like better privacy, you don't like your phone being tracked? You know, stuff like that. Like, I think it's better off to make people kind of dig that stuff. That always goes back to my opinion. Like, people should dig that up themselves and like figure out themselves. And like as they go, they will. You know, it's just inherent. I learned more the more I wanted to learn, but it was like I also didn't get like bombarded by fucking 2 a.m. red pill schizos like on fucking Reddit going like, if you don't install Cube's OS, you're literally gonna get indicted by the FBI and they're gonna fucking kill you, or like some dumb shit. Like it just pushes people away and makes you look crazy. That's just my opinion. And I think we will definitely get better. It's funny, I can't find that message app, and it bothers me. I sometimes hate DuckDuckGo or like any search engine, to be honest, because they're always filled with shit that you don't want to find. Like, just so bad. Sometimes DuckDuckGo and like Brave's search engine is so bad that you're like, why does Google gotta suck? So like, why does Google gotta be the worst, like awful at privacy? You know, it's just whatever. Side rant. But I don't know. In my opinion, I think the best route that we've taken so far is a lot of people in privacy security getting bigger channels. They're attracting more people. I think the thing that we are missing, though, is I think we are also attracting people that already think like this, and it's something that I hope I'm wrong about. I guess this is maybe just like a hot take, a quickie, a thought. I think a lot of the stuff that we interact with people on, especially chronically online, we get really involved with people that already have these opinions and have already been through like the trial process and have gotten there. Like they've already like and it's cool, and I think it's cool to have a community of people that like think the same, and like they're like, oh yeah, I like the you use Signal and I like the you use Session, like hey, cool. But I also think it's better to get people that aren't in this space and change their opinion about why privacy is so important. You know, I guess like maybe from like my own standpoint, because I still hear a lot of people say I have nothing to hide, I don't care, and that sounds great, but it's like you know deep down inside they would care if they knew. And I think it's better to jump people on better privacy, because then you can correlate better security. Because there's never gonna be a poor person in the world that would, with more than 2 working brain cells, that would be like, well, actually I want less privacy and less security. That I wish people would hack my email and take all my Bitcoin. Stuff like that. Like you'd have to be literally insane or I guess like shit posting for that to even happen. But I'm never gonna see someone say wow, thank you for increasing my privacy and my security. You know, that would, of course, like, people are going to say that it'd be great, but I don't know. It's just, I'm glad we're like pushing into a better, and like GrapheneOS is getting like better recognition and more people are like installing it. And I definitely hope that we get to, like, the Pine phone gets way better support, and that we can start working on like getting away from just Android, just Google, just Samsung, just Apple, just iPhone, like, you know what I mean? In a sense of like phone competition from like a perspective. And I know some people are like they're like, oh, it's not secure, blah blah blah. Sometimes, like, if you don't have like a lot of information on like, if you just don't carry that much, it just comes down to your threat modeling, whatever is better for you. And I think that instead of just going around saying like we only need this secure operating system, it shouldn't bleed into like others where others can learn, is somewhat its own problematic. It's not as bad as like the 18th million secure messaging app problem that we are occurring, but maybe it'll get better. I think you should install GrapheneOS. I am shilling them. I think it's the best operating system that you can do if you're not on stock Android. Fuck Apple unless you use it. And I hear that they're going to support the Pixel tablet, which is going to be fucking cool. And I'm excited, and I can't wait. And I'm done ranting because it's a time zone that I don't want to be in anymore. I want to go do something else. Until next time, have a good day.